Hey there, beautiful souls. So I thought I'd change it up a little bit for our final episode of the six-part series on self-acceptance and come on video for this one. Put a face to the friend that you've hopefully made. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Melanie, host of the Divine Feminine Awakened podcast, and I'm a certified yoga instructor. And before we get into it today, I want to give you a little bit of a background, or I should say more of a background of who I am and why I'm here talking to you. So I got my yoga certification in January of this year through my vinyasa practice. And it came after a mental breakdown of a culmination of things. I mean, it was partly due to corporate burnout. I had spent, 7 years in the management customer field, years and years, almost a lifetime of CPTSD that actually went undiagnosed for up until 2 years ago, really. Um, I also during that time I was supporting my husband through his alcohol addiction and then his subsequent recovery. Now, thankfully, he's been sober for 2 years, and we're incredibly proud of just the commitment and the work that he had to do to get to where he is today. So, for those of you that might have experienced this or in this right now, I just want you to know that I am super proud of you. And don't give up, okay? Because the bad days are temporary. I know it doesn't feel that way, or it might not feel that way right now, but they are temporary. It will get better. Continue to do the work. If you're in a program, do your steps. You got this. I mean, I know you have so many people rooting for you. And if you don't, you've got a new person that's rooting for you today. So back to corporate America. Like I said, I spent 7 years in the management customer success field. So for various virtual call centers, big box retailers, and I have to tell you, I met some amazing and inspiring women along the way. Going through the breakdown is really what started my journey of healing and exploration, self-acceptance. And it allowed me to rediscover yoga in a much deeper way than I had ever before. And unbeknownst to me, I mean, the decision to seek out help would actually change the trajectory of my life. I like to say through the mysterious work of the universe, I changed careers at 40, and have been working to step out of my comfort zone by introducing people to yoga and sharing meditation and mindfulness tips. Attempting to teach yoga. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? And then building an online community where we can learn to love and accept ourselves as we are. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So that brings me to today. Yes, I know. If you've been following, this episode is coming out a little late. I mean, what can I say? Life just happens sometimes. I mean, let's be real. Between juggling family, responsibilities, yoga, and really just trying to stay sane, we all have those weeks where we think we have everything under control and then boom. But hey, No guilt, no shame. That's life. It's messy and chaotic sometimes, and that's totally okay. So I appreciate your patience, and I hope this episode will be worth the wait. So today's topic is one I think we all can relate to on so many levels: living in harmony with others. I feel like we're constantly bombarded with advice about how to live your best life. Um, as an individual, self love, self care, all the self things, which, don't get me wrong, is super important. I mean, after all, I preach these things. But, what about the other part of the equation? How do we thrive in this world together? It's not just about me, it's about us, right? So, we're going to dive into all that today, and as usual, wrap up with a guided meditation. So, grab your tea, whichever one you like. Um, get comfy, grab a sweater, a blanket, and let's have a chat like we're hanging at the kitchen table. So let's kick things off with something we all struggle with: differences. And let's be honest, I mean, people can be annoying. But seriously, isn't it wild how the things that make us unique can also drive us nuts? I mean, whether it's work, with family, or in relationships, we all have those moments where we're just like, why are you like this? I mean, but my thoughts are our differences are actually what make harmony possible. I mean, just think about music for a second. If every note was the same, it'd be flat, boring. The beauty comes from the different notes working together and creating something so much bigger. Living in harmony with others doesn't mean agreeing on everything or being the same. It's about embracing those differences. Whether it's your coworker who shares too much or your partner who leaves their socks on the floor, there's an opportunity there. It's about acceptance and not trying to change them to fit your idea of right. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, sometimes those differences make me want to scream. But, I mean, whenever I catch myself in that mindset, I like to pause and kind of ask myself, what can I learn from this person? Maybe their different approach to life has something to teach me. Or maybe it's just reminding me to be patient. Either way, it's a growth opportunity. Okay, so now that we've embraced our differences, let's talk about the other side of that: boundaries. Oh, boundaries. The magical word that makes so much sense in theory, but can be a total mess in practice, right? I mean, setting boundaries is like putting up a fence around your yard. You're not keeping people out per se, you're just defining where your space is. But here's the tricky part: people will test your fences, sometimes without even realizing it. Maybe it's the person who constantly calls you on during work hours, or that family member who has an opinion about literally everything you do. I mean, we need boundaries to maintain harmony because without them, we get resentful. Nothing kills harmony faster than an unspoken resentment. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way. So here's a little mantra that I've been using lately. My boundaries are an invitation to love me better. It's a way of framing boundaries as something positive and not negative. And when we set a boundary, I mean, we're actually giving the other person a chance to rise to the occasion, to respect us on a deeper level. Setting boundaries can feel awkward. I mean, especially if you're like me and hate confrontation. Like I try to avoid it like the plague. But I like to think of it as doing future me a favor, if that makes sense. The more clear I am now, the less drama I'll have to deal with later. It's like preventative medicine for your soul. And always remember, we teach people how to treat us. So setting boundaries is important. All right. So we've talked about embracing differences and setting our boundaries. So I want to dive into something that I think we all need a little more practice of, and that's listening. And I don't mean waiting for your turn to speak or what I like to call listening to respond, that kind of listening. We've all done that, right? I'm talking about the real active listening with empathy. And here's something I've learned: most people just want to be heard. They're not necessarily looking for solutions or advice, just a space to be themselves. And if we can offer that genuine, patient listening, I mean, we're already halfway to creating harmony. And this has been a huge game changer for me, especially in my relationships. Like, instead of jumping in with my opinions and trying to fix things like I usually do, I'm learning to sit back and listen. And it's amazing how much more connected I feel when I do that. It's almost like a superpower. Like when someone feels truly heard, their whole energy shifts. And let's be real, it takes practice. I'm not perfect at it at all. I mean, I still have these moments where I'm biting my tongue, dying to chime in. I mean, ask my husband or my mom, they will tell you. But I keep reminding myself that sometimes the most supportive thing that you can do is just be quiet and let the other person speak their truth. So I want to come back to a topic from a previous episode, um, the episode on compassion and forgiveness. Because without these two, like, harmony is impossible at all. We're all human, we all mess up, and living in harmony means that we're going to have to forgive. both others, and yeah, you remember, and ourselves. And this part gets tricky because sometimes we expect people to behave in certain ways, and when they don't, it's easy to get upset. Trust me, I've been there more times than I can count. But holding on to that frustration, it just adds tension. And tension is the opposite of harmony. So when I'm struggling to let something go, I try to remind myself that everyone is really doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. I mean, it doesn't excuse bad behavior by no means, but it helps me soften my heart just a little. And forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It just means freeing yourself from the weight of resentment, if that makes sense. And here's a fun little tip that I've been using lately. The next time someone irritates you, try silently blessing them. I know, it sounds woo woo, but trust me, it works. Just think to yourself, I hope you find peace, or may you find what you need. It shifts your energy and takes the edge off. Like, really. So, how do we bring all of this together and actually create harmony with others in our everyday lives? I think we start in our homes. I mean, I don't know about you, but my home is my sanctuary. And I've learned that harmony in the home starts with us. I mean, if I'm chaotic and overwhelmed or stressed, I mean, that energy ripples through everyone around me. And the same is true for communities. If we want to create peaceful, harmonious, spaces, we must be that peace. Now, one of the most powerful tools that I've found to cultivate inner harmony and harmony with others is yoga. And I'm sure a lot of you already know the transformative powers of yoga that yoga has. But for those of you that are new to the practice, let me break it down for you. So, you know that moment in yoga class where you finally settle into a pose after a struggle and you just breathe into it? That's that same energy that we need when dealing with difficult situations or people. It's about softening, letting go of resistance, and embracing the present moment. Whether you're flowing through sun salutations or holding a deep stretch, yoga teaches us to meet our edges with grace and compassion. I mean, I've found that when I make time for even just 10, 15 minutes of yoga, I'm more centered and grounded for the day. And when I'm grounded, it's so much easier to handle whatever life throws at me, including navigating relationships and other people's energies. So if you're finding yourself feeling out of sync with others, or if there's tension in your relationships, I encourage you to step on your mat. Even a simple practice like a few rounds of cat cow, some deep forward folds, or a calming seated meditation can help you reset and find that inner harmony. Trust me, it ripples out in the most beautiful ways. And speaking of meditation, I want to end today's episode with a guided meditation to help you cultivate harmony with yourself and others. If you're in a place where you can get comfortable, I invite you to do so. Maybe you're sitting down, lying back, or even sitting cross-legged in a gentle seated pose. Whatever feels good for you in this moment. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. And let's take a couple more deep breaths here, really feeling the rise and the fall of your chest, and allowing any tension in your body to just melt away. Now, with each inhale, I want you to imagine breathing in peace. A soft, warm light filling your lungs and expanding throughout your body. And with each exhale, release any stress or heaviness that you've been holding on to. Just let it all go. And as you settle into this rhythm, bring to mind someone in your life, someone you'd like more harmony with. This could be someone you've had tension with recently, or just someone you love and want to deepen your connection with. Imagine this person is in front of you. Picture them clearly. Now, as you continue to breathe, send them love and imagine a soft light connecting the two of you. A bridge of understanding, compassion, and harmony. Maybe they're smiling. Maybe you're smiling. You don't need to force anything. Just allow the connection to happen naturally. And if any difficult emotions arise, that's okay. Just breathe through them. Trust that this connection, this moment of harmony, is happening energetically, even if it hasn't unfolded in the physical world. Take a few more breaths here, feeling the peace and harmony within yourself, knowing that you are cultivating this energy for your relationship with this person. Now slowly let that image of that person fade away and bring your awareness back to yourself. Feel the strength in your body, the ease in your breath. Notice how it feels to be in this state of harmony, calm, centered, peaceful. Now, when you're ready, gently wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing some movement back into your body. Take one more deep breath. And exhale completely. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes if they were closed. Take a moment to sit with this feeling of inner harmony and know that you can return to it anytime you need. Okay, my loves, that's it for today's episode, and I hope you feel inspired to bring a little more harmony into your relationships and your home and your community. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress and making small shifts in how we connect with others. before we wrap up, I want to invite you to take a few minutes to reflect. Maybe grab your journal or just sit quietly and think about the people in your life. Where can you bring more compassion? Where might you need to set a boundary? And most importantly, where can you listen more deeply? Thank you guys for sticking with me, even with this episode coming out just a bit late. I mean, life happens, but we're all in this together, and that's what harmony is all about. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and leave a review if you're enjoying this journey with me. And as always, sending you much love, light, and all of the good vibes. Until next time, beautiful souls.